Welcome to the Bariatric Nutrition Coach podcast, where we empower you with weight loss surgery, nutrition knowledge, mindset advice, and inspiration so you succeed in your weight and health journey. I'm your host, Jane Stoltz, and I am a bariatric dietitian who has helped over 1,300 people on their weight loss surgery journeys. I'm also a solo mum, lover of long walks while listening to podcasts, partial to a glass of wine, and the ocean is my happy place. Join me as I dive deep into bariatric nutrition and lifestyle topics and deliver them to you in bite-sized, palatable episodes every Monday. Now let's go. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Bariatric Nutrition Coach podcast. If you've had bariatric surgery, we talk about all the time, and it's protein. I want to talk you through asking yourself the question, are you eating enough protein after your bariatric surgery? And I'm going to talk a little bit more about protein and how much you need. And then I'm going to go through 3 questions that you can ask yourself to really check in and see if you are having enough protein after your bariatric surgery, because it's such an important nutrient. I know we talk about it all the time, and the reason is it's so important, okay? So let's talk first, why is protein so important after bariatric surgery? And the first reason is that we actually don't store protein in our body. We store carbohydrate in our body as glycogen in our liver and our muscles, and we store fat in our body as adipose tissue, but we don't store protein. And you need protein every day from metabolic processes, a range of metabolic processes, including supporting, keeping, and building lean body mass, and that is muscle. So protein is really, really important. So we need it every day. We need an adequate amount in every day. And I know after having bariatric surgery, when you can't eat volumes of food, you've got high restriction, low appetite, eating enough protein can be really hard. And it can feel like you're on a high protein diet. But guess what? We're actually not asking you to be on a high protein diet. We're really just aiming for adequate protein. And that can take a little bit of time to get your head around. So that's really where we want to start from, is really appreciating that protein's really important. And in the early to medium days, it can be a real challenge to get adequate protein. But in the long term, with the changes that happen over time after bariatric surgery, it certainly becomes easier for most people. So that is what we aim to do over time, is make it easier to get your protein in and build a more varied and more of a balanced diet. But getting adequate protein, not a high protein diet, just adequate protein. So let's talk about how much protein do you need. And there's a lot of confusion about this, and there's also no kind of one amount that suits everyone, because everyone's needs are different. And I often get asked or get sent messages at this stage after a sleeve gastrectomy, how much protein should I be having a day? And even how many calories should I be having a day? There is no set amount, because I'm going to talk through the factors that can impact how much protein you do need. You know, what guides treatment, the care and treatment pre and post-surgery, after bariatric surgery, bariatric guidelines. So metabolic and bariatric guidelines that pull together research over years for all the different aspects of care and support after preparation and care after bariatric surgery. And in Australia, we follow the American ASMBS guidelines. And in America, they do. In parts of Europe, there's European guidelines. So there's different guidelines around the world. And part of the guidelines have a big part of it is a nutrition component, where it recommends vitamin, mineral supplementation, follow-up, and also guidelines for amounts of protein. The evidence that supports how much protein you need after bariatric surgery is quite old. And often what's quoted is 60 to 80 grams of protein per day. That 60 to 80 grams gets mentioned and thrown around quite a lot, and it's quite outdated. I believe the 60 grams was allocated for women, 80 grams for men, because men generally have more lean body mass inherently. But I want to first say that there's no one amount for all. And also, I want to say that the research that is coming out and has come out in recent years supports that we actually need more protein than we thought, okay? And when dietitians look at protein amount, we look at grams of protein per ideal body weight, or what we call adjusted ideal body weight. So it's the amount of protein per weight, because if we're looking at using kind of ideal body weight in a healthy or a stand BMI range of 19.5 to 25, the body mass index takes into account kind of general amounts of lean body mass. So we're looking at how much grams of protein we need to support that lean body mass. When you have a body mass index above 25, we use a different calculation called adjusted ideal body weight, and it factors in more lean body mass to support, okay? So we used to work on like 0.75 gram of protein per, I'd say, ideal body weight and what weight the person was. But the research is showing that's not adequate. And then move up to maybe 1 gram or 1.25 grams roughly per ideal body weight, or even adjusted ideal body weight. And I'm giving you kind of some figures that we kind of consider when we're looking at a protein goal. My first goal with my clients after having bariatric surgeries will work up first to get 60. Everyone. It's just the first place we want to work to get to. And it takes people different lengths of time. It is not expected that you get 60 grams in that second week post-surgery, because the only way people generally get there is by putting collagen in their fluid or overloading, pushing themselves really hard. We're going to get there sooner, yes, when we drink more of your protein. And some people can get there. They've had certain surgeries where they've got less restriction and using protein shakes, and that's fine. But I just want to let people know it can take longer to get to 60 grams of protein. And by the time we get there, we are drinking some, but we want to be eating some as well. Once you're there, as my client, that's where I do more of a personalized protein goal. And we take factors into place, certain factors. We take age, we take any injury into factors, we take appetite, we take a whole range of factors into place when I'm working out a protein goal. And often that first personalized protein goal is that next step for my client. And I'm going to talk to you about why it's not okay, I got my protein goal, that's it for the rest of my life. It actually will change over time. And we want to keep checking in over time to say, are we actually, eating enough protein? Because our needs and what we require for different factors coming in can change over time. So there's no one size fits all. The 60 to 80 grams of protein per day is outdated. And first, I want my clients to get to 60, and then a next personalized goal, and we're working towards reaching that. But we're also taking that goal, not with a grain of salt, but we're putting it to the side, and we are optimizing protein intake in line with also what's comfortable and building up in a comfortable way, not forcing food down, okay? So it's a balance. But protein is such a wonderful nutrient because while it's a challenge in the early to medium days, in the long term, it comes into its own because it keeps you satisfied for longer and it keeps you satisfied with less energy. So if I'm going to loop around, come back to that question of how much do you need, that is very personalised, and a bariatric dietitian is going to be able to help you, okay? If you were given 60 to 80, that's a general amount, and even if your needs are in that zone, in that kind of band now, it can change over time. But the research is coming out that we actually need more, And it doesn't mean we eat more, it means we need more and we're displacing carbohydrates and fats and getting more of our energy for protein. So now let's talk how your protein needs can change over time. And when I'm talking needs from a physical perspective, but also from an appetite perspective. And I know that's physical, but what I mean is body and appetite. I'll explain. So as you get older, you actually need more protein. So when we're getting around that 65 years of age and onwards, and even if we're getting closer, we want to build even more protein into your diet. Because as we age, there are a lot of changes in the body that lead to lean body mass decreasing, and we want to really actively support lean body mass as we get older. Illness and injury will impact your needs for protein. Infections mean you need more protein. Also, we can need more protein along the way in your journey. I call it kick along weight loss. So it's a strategy and it's a way that I work with clients to help kick along, massage or kind of squeeze out more weight loss in their weight loss phase after having weight loss surgery. And there's different amounts that I increase protein per day that are really useful for increasing, and whether it's getting going weight loss again, like moving out of a plateau and recommencing weight loss, or increasing weight loss. Because my goal working with clients is I say we go for gold, we squeeze out as much weight loss as we can in the weight loss phase. And protein is a really wonderful tool we have to use and help our sleeve to keep weight loss going. So that can be a factor that we take into account, that your need for protein increase, we need more. And also it's a wonderful thing that we can increase when you notice your appetite increasing, your appetite coming back, that you can start eating a bit more. People come to work with me and it's very normal to get really scared. You can eat more, you have more appetite, you notice that you're starting to crave foods. And it often happens between that 6 and 12 month post-surgery. And we leverage protein. We need it to change the amount of protein you're eating. And also the spread of your protein in your day can be really, really impactful. So just please know, even if you were given a protein goal from your dietitian, doesn't mean that that's the goal for the rest of your life. So before I go through 3 questions you can ask yourself to really check in and see if you're having adequate protein every day, do you need to adjust your protein goal? I want to give a shout out to the lovely Jackie, Bariatric_Jackie, because she has given me a wonderful shout out in her Instagram. And Jackie has been on my podcast and we connected in Instagram. But if you enjoy my podcasts, if you find value, please give me a shout out in your social media, tag me, and I will mention you here in my podcast. So I just wanted to mention that because I don't advertise my podcast. I talk about it in my Instagram and my free Facebook community. And I have it on my YouTube, but I don't advertise my podcast. It's really word of mouth and how it spreads. So I would really appreciate any shout out you can give me, any sharing you can give of my podcast. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. So now let's go through the 3 questions that you can ask yourself to, I suppose, walk through the topic of your own personal protein goal to help you work out, okay, do I need to look at it and do I need to increase it? Do I need to make some changes to the protein amount I'm eating per day? Question 1, when did you last check in on your protein intake? When did you last really assess how much protein am I eating? And that is a good couple, 3 or 4 days of tracking. It doesn't have to be weeks. It could be 3 or 4 consecutive days of really good tracking. And checking in and saying, how much am I eating? And is this, I'm going to walk through the other questions, but really checked in and really know roughly how much you're eating. Is it 50 grams per day, 75 grams per day, roughly. What is the average? You may find it goes up and down really drastically. And we want to really check in on that because that's not going to support good weight management. Okay, so that's the first question. When did you last check in on what protein intake you're having on average? Question 2, how long do you feel satisfied after a meal or a snack? How long is that meal or snack sustaining you? I was tripping over the S's. So that's a really good question because we want your meals and snacks to sustain you for a good 2.5 hours at least. You need to eat 2.5 to 2.5, 3 hours after every meal or snack. But we want you to feel that meals gets you so you can start eating that next meal or snack. You need to eat. You're hungry, but you're not so hungry that you bolt your food down, you inhale your food. You can still eat mindfully and slowly at that next meal. Okay? So that's a guide of, okay, if I can't, I'm not having enough protein and fiber we bring in at that last meal or snack to sustain me comfortably to the next meal. Okay?
Now tell me, is this you? You have had your bariatric surgery and you're feeling lost, you're lacking support and you don't know what to eat and when. Or you may have noticed after your surgery, your hunger and cravings have started to return and you are scared you won't reach your goals. You may have had some weight regain and you want to stop the weight regain and lose some more weight. You may be pre-surgery and you want support to be fully prepared for your weight loss surgery journey. If any of these sound like you, then listen up. I have developed my Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp just for you. My coaching program provides education, coaching and community for people getting ready for their weight loss surgery and at every stage after their surgery. There are 4 key areas that I focus on with my clients in my Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp. One is the Bariatric Nutrition Basics. You will learn what and how to eat so you feel satisfied, reach your protein and fluid goals, and have less cravings, and know how to manage your hunger in the future. Meal ideas and meal planning. You'll learn to plan meals and snacks that you like, so you have great options on hand when it comes time to eat. Also, we focus on mastering weight regain habits, identifying any habits that are stopping you from reaching your goals and create manageable strategies to get back on the straight and narrow so you can manage your weight for the rest of your life. And also, I focus with my clients in my Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp on learning to trust your body and food. Start to enjoy your food again by relearning to listen to your body cues so you have less guilt and improve your relationship with food and your body. If you are ready to maximize your weight loss surgery results, feel confident in your journey, and be led with support and expert guidance, then the Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp is for you. If you would like to know more about my coaching program, check out the link in the show notes.
And question 3, how much protein are you eating in that early part of the day? We want at least, I'm not going to give about actually, I'm going to say at least half of your total protein intake across your breakfast, mid-morning and lunch. And you don't want to have excessive hunger afternoon, after dinner. Okay? And that will show you if you're having enough protein. We want a good amount of it to be in the early part of the day. And we don't want to be excessively hungry mid-afternoon, late afternoon, after dinner, because that will show you eating enough. Okay? So by asking yourself and reflecting on these questions, it could guide you. Okay, I need to look at my protein goal. Okay, I might need to pull it up a notch. And you can pull it up a notch and see how it works. You can go back to these questions and see, okay, am I having enough? Okay, so I hope you found this useful. I hope you found the questions useful. I do always like to give some education because I think it's really important to know why we ask you to do certain things after bariatric surgery, why is protein so important. And yes, it can be such a, is it the term monkey on your back in the early to medium days? Oh my goodness, how am I ever going to eat enough protein? How am I ever going to get enough in? Will in time, it becomes easier in time. And then you can eat more, and we really want to leverage protein. So there's no set and forget after bariatric surgery. It's very much around checking in regularly, checking in to see, do I need to tweak things? Do I need to change things? So thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you found value in this podcast. If you enjoy my podcasts, if you find them of value, I would love you to share them with anyone that you feel would appreciate them. And I really appreciate when people send me messages and I get great feedback. It really helps me know I'm on the right track and the topics I'm choosing are really valuable. Please know you can suggest a topic. You can go into the show notes. There is a link that says Ask Jane. You can pop in there and you can suggest a topic. You can say, Jane, I'd like to know about X. I'd not like to know about Y. Why do we do this? What's the answer to this? And I'll do a podcast on that topic. I'll only ever share, and I only ask you to share your first name. And I'd love that. I'd love you to suggest a topic or ask a question. So go to, if you have one and you'd like me to talk about a certain topic, pop into the link in the show notes, Ask Jane, and suggest that topic. Thank you so much for listening, and I really look forward to being back in your ears next week. Bye for now.